What's going on there, guys? My name is Matt, or Chewy, as most of you will know me as, and today I am bringing you something new, a different video on the channel. After a couple of weeks break due to my PC being broken down, we are back in the simulator at last. I'm sorry, it is another Boeing 777 flight. You're going to get sick of these, potentially, because I'm going to upload loads of them, but as most of you will know, it is my favourite aircraft. Today we are doing Speedbird 49, British Airways 49, and the service, I think it's a daily service, from EGLL here in London Heathrow to Seattle. I'm really excited to show you the two sceneries because they are both amazing. This London Heathrow scenery is a bit bad on frames, but it's okay, it's alright, and whilst we're offline and everything, it should be fine. And the Seattle scenery just looks incredible. So, apologies about the freeze there that we've got as well. I think, yeah, it's FSU IPC. I get these kind of random 5-second freezes every now and again, and I have no idea why. Anyway, on with the show. We are on stand 532 at the second, Terminal 5. There's the tower in the distance there. And there is Terminal 5 behind us as well. I'm not too sure what exact stand this flight usually goes off of, if it even has one. But we've loaded in at the time that it usually departs. And it usually kind of gets off and departs in around about 20 minutes from now. So like 4 PM BST kind of thing. So let's get the aircraft set up and get ourselves going. And then we can get ourselves out of here. I'm not going to worry too much about like GSX and the boarding process and all of that. I just want to get ourselves out of here, and then we can have like GSX maybe once we get down on the ground in Seattle. So first of all, what I need to do is get onto the payload section and work out what our zero fuel weight today. It's looking like we've got an estimated zero fuel weight of 202.7. So we're quite heavy today, 88% load level. And then fuel-wise, I imagine we're going to be taking a relative amount. Yep, 76,616. And there we go. That can get loaded in. So 52.6. This 777 can handle a lot. And so it's not surprising to see it not be too phased by that amount of fuel, to be quite honest with you. Next thing we need to do is pop the ADRUs on. The emergency lights can go on as well. Fuel pumps, we might as well do now. Pop the center ones on because we will need them, and then the left and the right pack can go on as well. So that all looks good. I'm just going to pop us onto the door page quickly. Okay, so we've got entry 2 left open. We've also got the forward cargo, the aft cargo, and the bulk cargo doors open. That's fine for now. Let's do the pre-flight checklist. I'll set the parking brakes first. So oxygen is tested and is 100%. And flight controls, well, instruments aren't alive or anything at the second for the heading and altimeter. But talking of altimeters, let's set that now and set the local QNH here. We'll pop the needles up on here as well. The QNH at the second at Heathrow is 1015. I'll just switch over to the first officer's view and then move all that on there. And I'm also just going to take this already, because knowing me, I'll forget if I don't do it otherwise. Right. What else do I need to do? Okay, so that's the pre-flight checklist complete. So I'll pop us back onto the door page, and that can stay like that, and then we're all good. So we've got all of that information there. That looks absolutely fun. We can go into the FMC, and let's get this baby set up. Position initialization even. So we are at Echo Golf Lima Lima, otherwise known as London Heathrow. Let's see if it takes us down. We're on stand 532. Oh, it will take it. And then if we grab the... Oops, sorry, I don't even need to do that. What am I doing? I'm going to the wrong place. Dear me, sorry. We'll grab the GPS position and everything will come to life there. So that is perfect. Route. We can request the route today. And there we go. EGLL to KSEA. And that will just take a second to do its thing, but it shouldn't take too long to load in, and then we can request that. It won't take us long to get everything set up in the flight deck. I'm getting more and more used to this aircraft now, and so hopefully it won't take me long. Knowing me, like after saying that, I'll probably make a mistake or something, but that happens, I guess. I have no idea what that sound was, the dinging sound was, to be quite honest. Right, 27 right is what we're going to be taking off from today, and we have flight number, as mentioned earlier on, British Airways or Speedbird 49. We can activate and execute that. Now, before I do the performance initialization, I always like to do the departure first. So 27 right is what we're expecting. And today we're on the Woburn 3 Foxtrot departure. out of Heathrow. Init ref. Now let's have a look at everything here and see how we do. So cost index is actually 100 in cruise, I believe. Okay, sorry, I need to accept it first, don't I? Go away. Is 100 for British Airways, if I'm not mistaken. So that all looks fine to me. Now let me just double check our initial altitude. Yeah, 340 is our initial altitude. We do climb to 360 and to 380 as well, so I'll sort that out in a minute. But first of all, thrust limits on takeoff today. We have a D-rated 1 takeoff, and we also have an assumed temperature of 43 degrees centigrade, which gives us an N1 of 92.1. We're taking off with flaps 5 today. Centre of gravity can get popped into there like so. And there are our V-speeds 161, 163 and 167. Now I'm going to pop the acceleration height up to 3000. I think that's what it should be at Heathrow. I'm not too sure. I'm sorry if I'm wrong and if some of these things aren't realistic, but please do forgive me. So 167 can go into our MCP there. We can set the runway heading, so we're going 270, aren't we? I'm not too sure if that's completely the correct runway heading as well, so apologies. I'm a noob. I know. I should check these things. I'm lazy. I know. Initial climb altitude out of Heathrow, I believe, is 6,000 feet, so that is absolutely fine. And whilst we're here, let's get the APU going as well. We have got external power, but we might as well start up the APU so we can get ready to go and head off. Now let's very quickly just look at the flight plan. We'll go to the legs page here and just have a look and make sure everything looks good there. Departure looks nice, exactly what we want, so we can just step through this like so. Actually, let me bring that up so you guys can see that a bit better. Cool. We'll get rid of all these altitude constraints once we get into the air. And there's Woburn. And then we head on to our departure route. Okay, so I'll pop that back over. Now, let's have a look and see where we are going to be stepping. So we're initially going up to 340. And then our first climb, I believe, is after Goma. Here we go. It's 6120 November. So all we need to do is put 360/step into there. So we're up to 360 there, and then we also climb up to 380 at 100 Charlie. So let's keep a lookout for that. 100 Charlie, there we go. /380 step here. Any other climbs? Any other climbs? No, I believe that's it. So we can execute those and pop them in and make sure all of that looks good. Yep, that looks fine to me. And then we'll go back to the first page, go on route data, and we'll load in the wind as well. Okay, we can accept that. Descent uplink forecast ready. We might as well do that now. I don't think it makes too much of a difference. Where do we want to go? Here we go, into forecast, and then we will load that. Now before I forget, let me go back onto the climb page and pop our transition altitude at 6,000 feet, because for some reason I always forget to set transition altitude. I don't know why, I just do. Okay, so we've got our takeoff reference page back on the captain side FMC now, on the legs page on there, so that is all good. So what I'm actually going to do now is get ready to go for pushback. So we want our nose to be going to the left because we're taking on 27 right. We don't want to start our engines before pushback. Our departure clearance is requested, so that all looks good. Now whilst they're doing that, let me just double check that our APU is on. Yeah, APU is running, so that's spot on. So what we can do now is not go into that menu, is to go into FS actions, ground connections, and take away all of the wheel chocks and everything. And then we'll head into the door page and close these doors up. So that's entry 2 left, and then cargo forward, cargo aft, and cargo bulk closed as well. Whoops, I went onto the wrong page there. I also need to arm that door, and that all looks good. And then we'll just keep an eye on this lower ICAS display to wait for those doors to close, and then we can pretty much get ourselves out of here. I'm just going to tune to Unicom, even though we're not on VATSIM, because it's kind of a habit kind of thing to do, and I'm going to squawk 200 again, just out of habit, even though we are flying offline. Right, all the doors are closed, so again, before we push back, let's go onto the checklist page and do the before start checklist. So the flight deck door is not modelled. Passenger signs, well remembered. That can go on as well. So passenger signs, seatbelt signs have come on. We've also popped the beacon light on. MCP is set. We've got a V2 of 167. Heading is 270. I'm not too sure if that's completely correct, but hey-ho. And altitude initial is 6,000 feet here. Takeoff speeds, V1 is 161, VR is 163, and V2 is 167. The CDU pre-flight is completed. Our trim is still 0 because we've not got the hydraulics yet. And taxi and takeoff briefing. Well, we're going to be going pushing back here, going on to Bravo, and then following Bravo pretty much all the way down to the holding point for 27 right. So that is our taxi and takeoff briefing. Okie dokie. Right, now, I'll pop us on the engine page here, and we're ready to go. It looks like, if I go outside, again, sorry, FSU IPC is deciding to do its 5-second glitch thing there. Yep, it looks like they're ready to go, so we can release the parking brakes and get this show on the road. That only took like 11 minutes to set up. Pretty quick, if I may say so. Right, whilst they're pushing back, we can set hydraulics. I don't know if they set hydraulics like before they push back or anything like that, but it doesn't take too long to do, and it doesn't really make much of a difference, so I don't mind doing it now. And I think it's unrealistic to start the engine straight away as soon as you start your pushback. I think a lot of airlines prefer you to kind of wait until you're a bit further back from the terminal. I could be wrong though. Knowing me, I probably am. I also need to set our auto brake to RTO, pop our flight directors on, and RML nav and VNav. Something I should have done beforehand. Okay, so we're just waiting for the hydraulic pressure, which is completely good now, as we can see on the upper ICAS. We've got no warnings about that, so we can start the number 2 engine. Just wait for 2% on the N2 here. And there it is. I will shush for a second and let you guys listen to the gorgeous GE90 starting up. What a sound. What a sound. I love it when that hum just kicks in. It just sounds so good. It really does. Okay. Right. Set our parking brakes. I'm happy that number 1 is number 2 is stabilized, so we will start number 1 now. And again, looking at the N2 display here, the lower ICAS, waiting for that 2%. Can watch number 1 start up as they disconnect the tug. I love this view. Just see the beautiful British Airways livery, the number 1 engine starting up and the tug disappearing there. Gorgeous. Absolutely amazing. This livery, by the way, is done by the good old legend Mr. Alex Farmer. And we're in the 200 today. I should have mentioned that earlier on. We're not in the 300. Both the 200 and the 300 operate this route. So yeah, we're in both. Alright. Okay, there is a starter cutout for number 1. So we can pop ourselves down at flaps 5 now. Whoops. Wrong view. I'll let you guys watch the flaps come down. If they are going to come down, they're taking their time. There we go. Eventually decide to kick in. Right, GSX is clear, which is nice. Okie dokie. Right, APU is running now, so I can take that off. I'll also pop the runway turn-offs and taxi lights on whilst we're here. APU is cooled down. Let's do a quick flight controls check. And then I also need to set our trim, which today is 3.75. So there we go, that's our trim set. Okay, let's do a flight controls check. So, full left. Full right, full up, full down, and then on the rudders, full left and full right as well. Lovely stuff. Okay, all of that is looking good, so let's go to the before taxi checklist. Anti-ice is not required, recall is checked, that's fine. Flight controls we've just checked, auto brake is on RTO, and the ground equipment is clear. So we are good to taxi by the looks of things. Everything is looking nice. GSX is buggered off, for lack of a better phrase. So let's add some thrust into here now. I'm actually just going to pop airport and traffic data onto there before I forget as well. Okie dokie. See the thrust just rising there. Don't want to go too crazy with it. We'll just start off nicely. And listen to those beautiful engines. I'm still pretty bad with the taxiing, so you'll have to forgive me in advance if my taxiing is rubbish. But I will do my very best and concentrate fully on it. I don't want to go too fast. We're taking this right here onto Bravo. Start to swing it round. I have no idea what's going on with the textures there. That looks a bit weird, so I do apologise. But these things happen. I literally have no idea what that is about. I've never seen that before. I hope that doesn't follow us all the way down the taxiway, otherwise that would look very weird. To combat it, let's get a wing view. Farewell, Terminal 5. See you soon. Oh, sorry. Darn thing, I don't know what that was about. Right. Looks like it's just a little glitch with the scenery in that position, but that's fine. So yeah, I mean, whilst we're taxiing down, I guess it's a good opportunity to talk to you guys about what happened. Like, I explained it in the video, what was going on with my computer and like what the kind of recent update was. But I didn't get a chance to update anybody on YouTube about what actually happened in the end. So my computer went back for repairs and everything. If you want to like listen to the full story, you can go onto my previous YouTube video and you'll be able to hear the whole story. But basically what happened in the end is that they ran some tests and they decided to put a new processor, new CPU, a new motherboard and new RAM sticks into my PC and run some diagnostic tests overnight to see if it was definitely a hardware issue. And they came back in and found that there was actually an issue with the hard drive. So they were still having like a bad performance rating or a lower performance rating than they should have done, even with the new hardware in. Which basically led them to thinking that it wasn't actually a CPU issue, and the only thing that it could have been was the hard drive. So yep, as I'm sure most of you will know now if you follow me on Discord, Twitter or Twitch, it meant that they had to do a whole reformat of my computer, which is why there's been a lack of content since we came back, because basically yeah, they had to reformat my entire PC and put it back to scratch settings. What I'm actually going to do here is I'm pretty sure I should be on Alpha and not onto Bravo. So I'm just going to take a left here and then a right and swing round to the right straight away again. So I can do that. I'm really sorry. I probably should have looked that up and checked that we should have been taxiing on Alpha. But we are offline. We're not flying on VATSIM, so I won't have any nasty controllers being angry at me. Although last time I did fly out of Heathrow on VATSIM, I had the most legendary controller ever. Like, I was doing Heathrow to Singapore, and he told me not to pick up any transvestite girl boys or boy girls or whatever whilst in Singapore, which was just quite funny. It was very inappropriate, but it was so funny, and I wasn't expecting it. It made me laugh. There's probably some people there like, how disgusting, how dare a VATSIM controller do that? But it was like, I don't know, 11:30 UK time at that point. So nobody else was about. It was quite funny. Let's have another wing view, shall we? There's the good old Heathrow Tower in the background. I'm always worried about my taxiing when I go into a wing view or something like that. But I do love this aircraft. It does look absolutely phenomenal. Look at that. It's such a beast of an aircraft. It's just huge. So yeah, I mean, like with my computer, they basically had to reformat the hard drives and put it right back to the factory default settings. And they kept the old, like the new processor, motherboard and RAM sticks that they'd already put in. They kept them in there because they were working fine, and that seemed to fix it. So they sent it back to me the next day, and I spent about, I think, 10 hours installing a lot of P3D stuff. I got everything working apart, and they're like, I didn't even have time to install sceneries. It took me 10 hours just to get P3D back up and running, and that didn't include any of my scenery. So I've been slowly and surely installing all of my sceneries once again, which has taken an absolute age. And we've got the FSU IPC freeze once again. I really hope that doesn't happen on like Takeoff or something, because that will be really annoying and ruin the immersion. Slight right here, got to keep my speed up, trying to keep an eye on that, keeping a nice consistent speed. We're not far away now though. That's Alpha, I think it's Alpha 5 just to our left that we've just passed. And then up here you can see that little red sign for Pluto, and then that leads on to Alpha 4. We won't take that though, we'll keep going round and head to the end. There's the hangars, there's the Virgin Atlantic hangar, there's the the green aircraft for the fire crews to do their like safety, you know, like their practices. And then there's the British Airways hangar right down here. I think there's an aircraft actually in the hangar, that's pretty cool, I've not seen that before. Right, here we go then. The holding points for runway 27 right. Now, usually there'd be an absolutely massive, typical British queue here. But because we are flying alone, and we're not on VATSIM today, we do not have that. So I'm just kind of going to swing us round here. And then we're going to stop and just make sure the aircraft is set up and ready to go. So this is probably unrealistic to exactly stop at this kind of angle like I'm going to stop at. But again, please forgive me. Okie dokie. Right. Let's get ourselves going then. So, landing lights can come on. Runway turn-offs can come off. Taxi lights can come off. Strobe lights can come on now. I'll leave the nose lights until we get onto the runway. Did I just click something? I think I did. I just turned all of them off. That was weird. Weather radar can come on as well. And let's have a look at our before takeoff checklist. Lovely. Now, very quickly before I take off, I'm just going to pop ourselves, like our engine page, into the compacted view. Onto the upper ICAS like so. I just really like how that looks, to be quite honest. And then I'll pop us like the communication page on this lower ICAS. Okie dokie, I believe we're good to go. Let's pop our TCAS on, even though it doesn't matter because there's no other aircraft around. And we're ready to do these things. Let's increase the throttles once again and continue our taxi and head on to runway 27 right. Don't want to go too crazy with the throttles. These G90s, once they spool up, they can do some pretty crazy stuff. So again, we were actually pretty spot on with our departure time there. I said it was going to usually take off at about like 4 p.m. British Summer Time, which is 3 p.m. Zulu, and that's basically exactly what we're on now, as you can see there with the UTC. So for once, I did something half accurately. Right, here she is, the gorgeous 27 right at Heathrow. I've turned way too early. Apologies about any black sceneries, by the way. That's just Heathrow for you. It's just such a cumbersome airport. Okie dokie. Right, that nose landing light can go on now. Everything's looking good. Here we go then. Take off from runway 27 right. Seattle, we are on our way. Spooling up to about 55%, making sure that we are nice and stable. We'll release the brakes and push toga. Here we go. Aiming for about 91.8 on the N1 screen. And there it is. Thrust is set. Try and keep down the center line of the runway as much as possible. 80 knots. rotate. Wow, we are heavy. I felt that one. We are heavy indeed. Right, positive rate of climb. Gear can go up. Ooh, look at the immersion. Bloomin' heck, what a view. Where's the M25? I think that's the M25. There it is. Of course there's a massive queue on it. I hate that motorway with a burning passion. Right, I'll pop the autopilot in straight away. Look at that view. Absolutely gorgeous. Wow. Okay, let's get back to flying the aircraft now. Our acceleration height popped up to 3,000 feet, so that's absolutely fine. Everything is looking good. We've got that initial climb of 6,000. So we'll keep an eye. As soon as we hit 3,000 feet, hopefully our airspeed should rise up. There it is. And the G90s will kick in a bit more power. There we go. We can start to see it rising up from 190 now if you just keep an eye on the speed tape. I'm going to up altitude on the MCP and just hit the button a couple of times. Oops. So that we can do altitude intervene. There we go. Hope that's done that now. Right. Flaps 1. What an absolutely stunning view. Look at how great the ground textures look. That's not me showing off or anything, but just the terrain around this airport looks absolutely phenomenal. Go flaps up as well. Right, flaps are coming up. Now, I don't know why it's still saying that. There we go, that's better now. We finally got that in, so we don't have to worry about the annoying height restrictions any further. Our speed's getting a little high. You need to be careful of that. Obviously, you're supposed to keep it below 250 when you're below 10,000 feet. But our climb rate is through the roof right now. There is transition altitude at 6,000. So I can set ourselves on to standard. We can have a look at the after takeoff checklist. Landing gear is up, flaps are up, so that's the after takeoff checklist completed. I'll bring the navigations display out a bit so we can see a bit more detail on here. But everything is looking good. That was a lovely departure. I thoroughly enjoyed that one. We'll move our MCP heading round as well, just to follow on to where we are at the second. Or roughly on to where we are at the second. You guys take another look outside. There's Heathrow in the background. Farewell, Heathrow. I'm sure we'll see you again in another video or another live stream soon. Cool. Our speed stabilised now. We're looking good and we're on our way to Woburn. There it is. So we took that Woburn 3 Foxtrot departure, and that's the first waypoint in our flight plan. It's 9,000 feet, so 1,000 more feet, and then we'll be able to turn the landing lights and everything off. And what I'll probably do is I probably won't ask for the seatbelt signs to be turned off until we reach maybe around here. I'm not too sure when's the most accurate spot to do it in, whether I could do it early. I mean, I guess I could. Right, 10,000 feet, landing lights can come off as well now, and that is all fine. We don't need to turn anything off there. We've got the beacon lights, the navigation lights as well, and the strobe lights. Everything's looking good on the overhead. We've had a nice departure so far, and now that we are above that 10,000 feet mark, our speed will increase as well. The G90s will pop in some more power. You can see there the N1 rating right up at 93.2%. It's not messing about. These G90s can do some crazy power. Let's have another look outside, shall we? Now, one thing that we're going to be doing soon again is not too long ago, about maybe a month, 2 months ago, I released a video for you guys showing you all the the settings that I've been using in P3D, they have changed, and they have changed rather drastically. So I'm going to be making an updated settings video very, very soon, because after everything that happened with my computer, I've changed things up a bit. My simulator's looking a bit better now, in my opinion. I mean, feel free to disagree if you think it's looking rubbish right now, but I feel that the performance is a lot better for what I've got, and the simulator still looks great. So I'm going to be making an updated P3D settings video in not too long time. Bit bumpy on our departure, but everything's okay. We're looking nice. Speed's coming up now. And we've still got that little freeze down. Glad we didn't get that on departure, but a little FSU IPC freeze every now and again. Nothing I can do about it, I don't think, unfortunately. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen, as we chase the clouds and head our way through northern England, we move up to our cruise level and make our way on about the 9-hour flight to Seattle. Okay, welcome back to the flight deck. Once again, ladies and gents, we are now at our initial cruise altitude of 340. We will be stepping, but we won't be stepping for a while, about another hour and a half, I'd say, really, 769 nautical miles, in fact, before we step. We've got our estimated time of arrival, which is 23:50 Zulu. So I'm not too sure what the weather conditions will be like, or I'm pretty sure that we'll still have some daylight at Seattle. It'd be really good if we could. And we're expected to land with about 12.9 tons of fuel left, but of course that will slightly decrease when we pop in our arrival route once we get into near Seattle. At the minute, we are not far away from Manchester. Manchester is literally just there, MCT. You can see it on the on our flight plan there, MCT for Manchester, and then Liverpool is just there. So we're going directly above Manchester through the top of the UK, and then we'll go up like Greenland way and right over the top of there, and then down through Canada. So that's kind of where our flight plan is leading us, basically, before we head to the west coast. But just one thing that I wanted to say really quickly is that I'm not too sure if earlier on when I was making the video I said San Francisco instead of Seattle anywhere. I don't think I did, but just as a kind of safety measure, if I did say San Francisco anywhere, I do apologize. I meant Seattle. The reason why I may have said San Francisco is because earlier on stream yesterday, actually, it would have been for the time this video is recorded, but earlier on today when I'm like recording it now, we flew from Seattle to San Francisco. So I'm probably getting the airports mixed up in my brain subconsciously. So if I did say San Francisco, I apologize. But yes, enjoy some lovely views of the aircraft as we cruise. We should be arriving in about 8.5 hours time. So I'll talk to you once we get rather a lot closer to our top of descent now. Okay, welcome back to the flight deck. guys and girls, we are back nearing top of descent now as Speedbird 49, 129 nautical miles to be exact until top of descent. So it's time to program in our arrival and get ready to go. I just want to show you some of the views though that we've got. We're kind of on the northern border of the United States, the southern border of Canada as well, and just the mountain ranges here are phenomenal. It's such an amazing place to fly. I really do love it, and the clouds are making it look awesome. So yeah, everything is very good indeed. Anyway, let's waste no further time and get ourselves sorted. So the first thing that I'm actually going to do is very quickly just do a quick wind data request, just to make sure that everything is kind of updated. And I'll also do like the descent uplink as well, which may take a few seconds just so it can react with active sky, but hopefully won't be too much of a problem. Just needs a second to configure itself. Today we're going to be landing on 16 left, which is the longer runway at Seattle Tacoma. Should be a nice easy approach. Now usually the approach is kind of vector yourselves in, but for this we're going to kind of cheat and move some of the waypoints around, which may not be completely like realistic, but it's just the easiest considering the fact that we don't need to then do all weird vectors on ourselves and everything like that. So let's head into the departures and arrivals now that everything is set. And here we go. We are on KSEA arrivals. As I said, the ILS 16 left on the Glazer 9.16 Bravo approach, and then we're actually going to pop in the transition of Papa Alpha Echo, and that can go in like so. So then the plan is that if we actually go to the legs page, what we're going to do is we're going to slightly change things up. So what would usually happen, tell you what, I'm going to bring it across on the screen. I've got my Avlasoft open here. So here we can see the arrival, the Glazer 916 Bravo. There's Glazer, the final waypoint in our flight plan, and we would head to Jackson and then go across and get vectors from Heather here, and there's the arrival runway there. But what we're going to do is we're going to cheat. So instead of doing all of this section here and then the vectoring, we're going to go from Jackson, and then go direct to Papa Alpha Echo, which was that transition that we just popped in, and then we'll turn around onto finals like that and have a long finals. So that's probably the easiest thing to do. Maybe classed as cheating, but hey ho, don't be mad at me please. So we'll grab, there we go, Papa Alpha Echo, and just move it under to Jackson it needs to be, so Woody can go, and that can go in like so. So if we have a look now, let's pop ourselves onto the plan mode and bring the range down. And if I just step through everything, you'll see Glazer, then Jackson's the next one, then Papa Alpha Echo, and then we make a swinging left-hand turn onto finals. So hopefully that should all be good, and that won't be too much of an issue for the aircraft to do. Right, I'll leave ourselves like that. Anyway, let's go to the init ref page. Today it's going to be a flaps 30 landing, so that can all be entered into there like that. We don't need to worry about setting any courses or anything, or doing the ILS details. That is all done for us, which is pretty darn nice, I may have to say so myself. We'll also go into the VNAV page, just double check that everything looks good here on the descent. The forecast, yeah, transition level is 180, so that's fine. I don't have to do anything there. Now, I know I'm forgetting to do something. Let's work out our minimums and everything first. According to Avlasoft, our decision altitude is 632. So what we will do is go over to here and right click and then hold on the mouse and move ourselves up. So 632 is what we're looking for our barrow minimums, and of course I look away from the screen and go right past it. This seems to always happen. 632, there we go. Eventually got that one incorrect. Now let me just have a very quick look at the nav radio, because I want to make sure that that is selected. Good, there we go. So it's just come up onto our ILS there, and that does correspond with what Avlasoft is telling me, 110.30, and then the course of 163. So that's absolutely spot on. The other thing that we need to do now is set the auto brake to level 2 is what I'm going to select today, and then I'm also going to have a look at active sky. So let's bring up active sky. Let's type in whoopsie daisy KSEA, and we'll have a look and see. So our information currently is that it's cloudy, but we've got good visibility. Our pressure is 1024 or 30.25, which is what we'll use. Surface winds are 180 at 9 knots, and we've got 13 degrees temperatures there, so everything's looking pretty good. We'll enter 30.02 though into here if possible. Pop ourselves back onto inches. 30 point, what was it again? I've completely forgotten. My mind's gone blank. I'm tired. 30.25, sorry. I do apologise. 30.25. Okay. Everything is looking good as far as I'm aware. Again, we've got no flashing lights or anything like that telling us that I've done anything wrong. We've got top of descent in 97 nautical miles. So I'll do the descent checklist before we start our descent, and then I'll join just at top of descent as well. So see you in a few minutes. Right, we are back and at about 24 nautical miles from top of descent, so not far to go indeed. We should be getting on the ground. Well, the time is now 23:21, and we're going to be landing at 23:49, which is exactly the time that they estimated when we left London, actually. So in about 30 minutes time from now is when we'll be landing. Of course, with the magic of editing, it will be a bit quicker than that. But what we will do very quickly is have a look at our descent checklist. So first thing to do is to check recall. Recall is checked, nothing is coming up, that is good. Notes are done. Auto brake is on level 2. Landing data, VREF is 137, and minimums today are 632. And the approach briefing, well, I talked about that a little earlier on, so the approach briefing is completed. So that is the descent checklist complete. And then we'll wind our MCP altitude all the way down. Our final approach fix today is 1,800 feet. So I'll pop us down to 2,000, then move it over, and we've got 1,800 there. Our missed approach altitude is 5,000, so hopefully my small brain will remember to actually program that in once we've captured the glide slope. But yeah, not long to go until top of descent, and what I'll do is I'll show you guys that, and then I'll probably join you when we're just below 10,000 feet and not too far away from our final approach and our arrival into Seattle. So see you then. We are back once again, just about to go through 9,000 feet. Had a good descent so far. Everything has been smooth. The approach has been lovely. Hopefully you've seen that with some of the views that we have had on final. And as you can see, FSU IPC is still doing its weird little freezes there. I'm really praying it doesn't do that on final approach, or just as we're touching down or something like that. I guess we'll find out soon enough. So yeah, nice and simple, easy arrival so far. We did that kind of cheat thing where we changed and didn't vector ourselves on, but it's just so much easier, and the aircraft didn't seem to mind it, so that's all good with me. And the views were just stunning. I'm really glad we're doing this approach into 16 left like this, because so far, as I say, yeah, the sights that we've been seeing out the windows has really showed off why we love to do these flights and why we love to explore different areas of the world. And that's one of the reasons why I love the 777 so much. I don't want you guys to get bored of me flying it, but it's just such a nice aircraft, and it you know, can carry us to so many different destinations. But anyway, 32 nautical miles to go. Everything's looking good. We're about to make that sweeping left-hand turn onto basically finals any second now. Everything's still looking good. We don't need to worry about flaps at the minute or any of that. Visibility hopefully will be okay. We've got this cloud layer here, but once we're below that, I'm pretty sure we'll be fine. And this is obviously we've got Rex Texture Direct working right now. We've also got Rex Soft Clouds included with that, and they are, what cloud set are they? They're cloud set 1.6. Sorry, my brain decided to blank there for a second. But they're cloud set 1.6. If anybody's wondering if my clouds look nice and you want to see what they are, then they're 1.6, and as I said, I will be doing a video showing it all off my new P3D settings in the near future, so that won't be too far away. Anyway, left turn it is. And we can see the airport not too far away. Not too far away at all. I'm going to arm the localizer now if I can do, just to see if that's okay. And I'm also just going to increase our vertical speed a bit, because we're slightly off the VNAV path. It's nothing to worry about whatsoever, but we are just a little high at the second. So I'm just going to go into vertical speed, and then once we get close to it, you can see it here on the navigation display. Not very far off whatsoever. It's really not much of a problem. But I just like to make sure that everything is good. And then as soon as we go back onto VNAV, I'm also going to try to establish early. So we're actually going to call for flaps 1 now. We've got 24 nautical miles to go, so we've still got plenty of time left. But I just like to kind of make sure that things are established early, basically. And hopefully our speed will drop back. We'll do it manually anyway. We'll go back to flap 1 speed. Pop out some speed brake just to help it along its way. Let me see if I can arm the approach now as well, so hopefully the glide slope will pick up as well. Going through the clouds, just look at that view. Speed brakes out, going through the clouds. Absolutely stunning. I love it when P3D looks this good. It can really kind of astound you sometimes with some of the views that you get. It really does. Anyway, runway still isn't quite in sight yet. Speed's coming back now, so everything's looking good there. I hopefully won't have to worry too much about any auto brakes or anything. That looks like the Seattle kind of skyline there. I don't know if I can zoom in and show you guys that a bit better. My ground textures are looking a bit meh at the second, but it's okay. It's not too bad. Right, speed brakes can come back in. And what I'm going to do is pop ourselves round. So our final approach heading, I think, is 163. Or is it? So yes, it is 163. It says there on the PFD. Gosh, Chewy, I should know that by now. So I'll leave our heading on there. And once the glide slopes come alive, we'll set our missed approach altitude. And I think you have to be at or above 5,000 feet when you go into the hold there at Mil T. So yeah, that looks like the Seattle skyline. Unfortunately, I'm pretty bad with geography, as most people already most likely know. So I can't tell you any landmarks or anything that looks, you know, like of worth and what it actually is, I'm afraid. I do apologise. But the localizer's captured now. We can see the magenta diamond coming in. So the aircraft will just track that and get that centered up on this white line here right in the middle. So that shouldn't take long. And then we can also see that little white diamond for the glide slope as well, which is very close to capturing. And there we go, talk of the devil, it's captured it itself now. So that's all looking good. Now that it's captured, we'll go to flap 5 and we'll bring our speed back down as well to flaps 5 speed. I'm going to a little bit of speed brake just to help it on its way. You don't need to worry too much about that though. And now that we've captured the glide slope, we can set our missed approach altitude. So up to 5,000 feet it goes. And we're almost there. How long have we been in the air? 8 hours and 44 minutes. So we're pretty much on schedule. Everything is looking good so far. I'm happy with how the flight's been. And I'm really looking forward to this arrival. Hopefully it will be nice and smooth for you guys. Let's decrease the range on our navigation displays now a bit. And now that we're established, I'll pop the nose light on as well. There's the airport just up ahead of us. There it is. Runway is in sight. We've still got another 11 nautical miles to go. So I'll pop down the gear and flaps 15 in a second. And then we should fully be established by, I think it's 4 DME or so. I like to establish early and I kind of get wrecked for it. Like, people on my stream don't really like it when I... Wait, oh, sorry, my speed brakes are still out. Hashtag blame Chewy. Yeah, some people don't like it that I establish so early, but I'd rather do it just to be on the safe side, to be fair. I know that's a pretty bad excuse. But it just ensures that there are no issues with speed. Right, gear down, flaps 15. Let's bring our speed down to flap 15 speed. Have a look outside. As the gear comes down. Oh, we got some FSFX as well. That looks good. What a view. Wow. Flaps 20 now. Speed's coming back nicely. Runway is fully in sight. Everything is looking fine and dandy to me. How far have we got left? 8 nautical miles to go. So yeah, I will establish a bit earlier on, but that's fine. Right. VREF plus 5 is 142 today. So I'll go for flaps 30 now. Look at the immersion. Wow. Alright, so flaps 30 is checked. Ground spoilers can be armed, and let's do approach checklist, which has already been done. Altimeters have already been set. And then the landing checklist. Speed brake is armed, landing gear is down, and flaps are 30. Okay, we are clear to land, everybody. Runway is in sight. Landing lights are on. Everything is looking good there. Missed approach altitude is set. I've got the runway heading set. So we can disconnect the autopilot. Actually, sorry, I need to do it on the yoke. Disconnect the autopilot. And I have control of the aircraft. Right, hopefully I'll do okay. I'm praying that I do okay on this approach. We've got a nice, easy headwind of 6 knots. Nothing too dramatic, nothing crazy. So I've kind of got no excuses if I plant this into the ground, really, do I? But as usual, I'm just trying my very best to remain nice and stable on the joystick. I have kind of a tendency to really overdo things and over control the joystick. I've always done it in Flight Simulator. And so I'm really trying hard recently, especially with this amazing Thrustmaster Warthog, which just is so responsive and is so robust as a joystick, especially compared to my old SciTac one. I'm really trying hard to just, you know, do things lightly. 1,000 feet is checked. I don't want to go over the top with anything. Moving very slightly to the right, so I'll try and bring ourselves back in. Just keeping an eye on that flight director, keeping an eye on the magenta cross right in the middle of that PFD. Also looking at the PAPI lights on the runway as well. We are still to the right. I have a tendency to drift off to the right as well. I'm not too sure why, but I guess I just do. We're also just creeping on the high side according to our glide slope, so we'll keep an eye on that, but we're okay. Everything's looking good. Here is the beautiful Seattle scenery. 16 left is recognized by RAS, which is what we want. Speed is looking absolutely fine. I just love this scenery so much. There's the freeze. Okay, I'm glad that we got it now and not when we're landing. It's annoying all the same, so I do apologize about that. 400 feet. 2 white, 2 red on the PAPIs. Minimums. We are going to continue. To keep things nice and smooth. 100 feet over the threshold.
50. 30.
Little height.
20. 10.
Let's flare. There we go, and we're down. Not the best, but not the worst. Try and control the stick, make it nice and smooth. And we are down. Welcome to Seattle, everybody. 70 knots, auto brakes can be disarmed now. 60 knots, reversers can be stowed. And there we have it. We are down safely. What a fun approach. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Thoroughly enjoyed that. Okay, let's keep ourselves slowed down here, and then we'll take this next exit. And we'll sort out GSX and everything, hopefully. I love that view with the spoilers up. It looks so good. Right. So left turn onto Bravo. I'm not even sure if you can really use this as an exit, in all honesty, but I will anyway. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take a right here onto Bravo, and then we'll just pause here for a second. So we'll take this left, and then instantly turn right straight away again, basically, with my awful taxiing, which I do apologise. And then I'll clean up the aircraft. Strobe lights come off, landing lights come off as well. Whoops, excuse me. Sorry for stopping. Oh my gosh, I'm a noob. Auto brake can go off. APU can start up. Okay, so we'll just move forward slowly and then make sure everything is good. I'm going to take the flight directors out now because I do not need them anymore. And then hopefully we should be good. Flaps are coming up. Door signs are auto passenger signs are still on. Speed brake is sorted out. We've sorted out all of the lights apart from the taxi lights. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're good. I'm also going to turn the weather radar off now. Right, now let me have a look and see where I'm going to be parking today. I'm actually going to go all the way around, if I can, onto Sierra 1. I don't know if the gate will take it. I guess we'll find out imminently. Right, Gate Sierra 1. Nice, that's exactly what I wanted. Who are we going to have it? Swissport International can handle us today, so we'll have a little freeze there. But there we go. So what we need to do now is basically just follow Bravo all the way around. I apologise about my taxiing. I realise that it's rubbish, but I felt like I had like 5 different things to do at once there pretty much. And yeah, luckily we're not on VATSIM. We don't have anybody around, so we don't have to worry too much about blocking any taxiways. But this scenery is phenomenal. As I said earlier on in the video, we actually flew out of here on my last live stream. We went from here to San Francisco, and just, oh, it was so fun to depart from. We even had ATC here, which was really cool. There was about 7 of us flying all the way down to San Francisco, so it was a busy flight. And we all managed to do it well without ATC onto arrival in San Francisco, actually. We all managed to kind of discuss it with each other in Unicom and sort out who was going when. So that was pretty cool. I love it when a plan comes together. I just realised there are cars going right across the apron, which looks weird. Another glitch. Right, there we can see our stand. There's Sierra 1 just up here. So what I'll do is I'll turn these off. I don't want to blind any of the guys at the stand. APU is now running, which is spot on. That's what we want. Have a look. We've got. That's really weird. I have no idea what's going on there. Alaska Airlines hangar just over there as well. Okay, so there is Sierra 16 just to our left now, and then here it is, Sierra 1. Let's hope my parking's okay today. We will find out imminently. Not got much room. It's just the scenery. I know I keep saying it, but it's just so good. Okay, let's bring ourselves around. Whoa, hello, dearest. I told you I'm bad at parking. I feel like I'm completely askew. Let's keep going, though. Sorry, I don't mean to stop. Let's keep going, let's keep going, let's keep going. I'm kind of going to ignore the GSX guy because they always stop us too early. So let's go outside and have a look and see how we're doing. Yeah, like, we're nowhere near the mark. The 777 mark isn't actually even on here, I don't think. But tell you what, we'll just stop anywhere. I think we're good there. So parking brakes can be set. Fuel controls can cut off. And there we go. 8 hours and 50 minutes was our flight time. Apparently that wasn't very good parking. But do I care? No, I do not. We'll request deboarding. And I'll turn the passenger signs off so everybody can release their seatbelts. And we'll ask for the jetway to come. Looks like it's going to work, which is nice by me. And there we go. We made it. We got down in one piece, which is certainly nice. What I'll do is I'll turn off the hydraulics now. The packs can go off as well. And the fuel pumps can go off. And that's looking all okay to me. I might as well turn these lights off. I don't know when's the best time to actually turn those lights off, but it's whatever. Right, ground connections. Wheel chocks can be set now. I'm also going to pop in the ground power. I won't actually set it the second. I'll do that once I've opened all of the doors. Right, now hopefully I've got all of the correct doors open. I'm pretty sure I do. I guess we'll find out imminently. There we go. Engines have spooled down. My parking wasn't too bad. It's just that we are very short, but I'm not too sure if there's even a 777 line on here, to be fair with you, but who cares? It still looks awesome all the same. And there we go. It looks like deboarding has begun. Everything is good. So what we will do now is pop ourselves onto the external power and turn off the APU as well. And then everything is looking good. I'm happy. I'm very happy indeed. I really hope you enjoyed that flight, guys. That was thoroughly fun. I'm really glad that we got it and we had that really nice approach through the mountains and into 16 left. And the landing rate was 234. So it was a bit heavy, but it wasn't too bad. There we go, 234 with the good old Project Fly tools telling us what it is. So it was a bit heavy. I should have flared a bit more, but it wasn't too bad overall. I've had much worse, I can assure you that. So anyway, guys, from Stan Sierra 1 here at Seattle, I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please leave a like, comment, and also subscribe to the channel. And a big thank you because we've hit 900 subscribers. So we are on the road to 4 figures, on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Hopefully we get there soon. Thank you for your continued support. I'll see you on Twitch or on YouTube again in the near future, I'm sure. Have a great afternoon, and I'll see you later.